England and Slovakia. The Euro round of 16 ties will be continuing on Sunday. Yesterday we previewed the two games going on Saturday. Today we'll be previewing the two games on Sunday. We start off with England and Slovakia. England, this is interesting in the fact that England could have actually been taking on the Netherlands instead of Slovakia, which would have been really tricky and really fun to watch. But they're taking on Slovakia instead. It's really weird. So England, even they were through to the knockout stages, right, as the winners of Group C, but they didn't know their opponents till the end of the group stages because of how the third place teams work out. And out of the top teams in Group B, C, and E, and F, they were set to take on one of the four teams that have gone through as the third place finishes. So to do that, UEFA has some sort of mechanism, a grid per se, that they created before the tournament that determines which third place teams goes on to play which group winners. It didn't matter which country was the best third place team or the fourth best. It's really based on this sort of formula, this grid that they have. And England, they could have faced any team from Group E or Netherlands, but they played ended up with Slovakia, the third place team in Group E. That's really interesting in how the grid works. I just wanted to throw that in there. But now, by the way, Slovakia, they actually did not finish in third place. They were where did they finish in third? I think they did actually, no? Yeah, they did finish in third place, yeah. So, yeah, I'm confusing myself now. It's confusing. But now England, England coming into this European Championships on not the best results, coming in against Iceland. A lot of people ignored it because this is the England national team, and people were thinking they're just gonna kick on at the Euros. Really ignored that 1-0 loss to Iceland, and then they went on to have 3 shockers in the group stages, not based on results, because 5 points is underwhelming, but what's even more underwhelming was the performances. I thought in terms of general play, they were outplayed by Serbia. They were on the back foot for majority of the game. Denmark, exactly the same. They scored early goals in both games, and they got put in the back foot. They started getting suffocated. They started getting pushed back, pinned back, and they really struggled to play out of it because of how deep they were pinned. They looked second best to any loose ball in midfield. They had individual players that played nowhere near the levels that they performed for their clubs, and it was just really bad. I think their best half of football that they played in the group stages was probably that second half with Slovenia when Kobe Mainu came in, somebody that can actually get them playing a little bit as a midfielder. But also a lot to do with that is also the fact that England were going against a Slovenian team that only needed a point, so they were content with allowing England to have the ball and just protecting the goal and keep everything tight. And Slovenia ended up getting the job done, and they're through. So I'm not trying to say anything negative towards them, but they were playing for that point. But hats off to them; they're in the European Championship round of 16. So England are the big favorites in this team. When you look at the players that they have compared to Slovakia, they have there's not a single Slovakian player that would get into the England squad, which I don't think it's I don't think saying that it's arrogant or ignorant or whatever. I don't think there's a single Slovakian player that would get into the English squad, let alone the 11. So there's a clear quality difference between the two. But I think, Slovakia, they've proven in the group stages that they can punch above their weight. What they did that opening game against Belgium, being able to pull off that shocker, they've shown they're capable of this, which is why I do give them a puncher's chance in this game. I think they defend really, really well. I think they're coached really, really well. They have a good ability of knowing, when to really go for the game and when to sit in, sit tight. They have very, very good defenders. Skriniar is definitely someone who will probably get into the England squad. So besides Skriniar, I forgot about Skriniar. But they have very, very good, solid defenders. They have a good goalkeeper in Dubravka, who actually plays in the Premier League. As I said, they've shown that they can punch above their weight. They have a good ability of playing in transition. They pick and choose their moments when to go for it in a game, which makes them dangerous. I think in their loss that they had against Ukraine, I thought they actually played some really, really good football and had some really good moments in that game, and just it slipped up a little bit in the end because of all the pressure that was piling up upon them and a little bit of touch of quality from Yaremchuk in that game. But yeah, overall, Slovakia, they're not bad. They're really not bad, and they're worthy of being in the round of 16, and they can make this a game just based on how bad England have been at this European Championship. Some of their key impact players include Ivan Shernans, who has 2 goals at this European Championship. They also have Lucas Haraslin, who is also a very good player for them. They also have Jurek Kuka and Andrei Duda, who actually was big. Is one of the more experienced guys on this team. Now he's played at 3 European Championship. So their impact players. A lot of the impact players have experience. When you look at Dubravka, when you look at Peter Pekarik, Denis Vavro, Patrick Hrysovitsky, Jurek Kuka, they got players that have experience amongst this team. Lucas Haraslin, there's experience within this team, and so that's a factor too. Some of these players are actually part of the team in 2016 that reached the knockout stages, where they lost to Germany in the round of 16, but they were part of that setup. Now, as far as England find themselves in a precarious situation in the fact that there's a very good chance, likely, we never know with Gareth Southgate, but very high chance that they will probably be entering this game playing a new midfielder again, like a change at midfield again, and it'll probably be Kobbie Mainoo who comes in and replaces Gallagher, just based on how they performed in the second half, how he can he can make this team a proper footballing midfielder. He has ability to pick a pass. He's comfortable on the ball. He gets them playing. He gets them playing proper football. It doesn't make it a very pragmatic team. I think he has more. He's more of a natural midfielder than Trent, and Gareth Southgate wanted Trent to be that sort of guy, but Trent is not naturally. He's not comfortable receiving the ball off a back line and turning around and taking advantage of space that is in midfield. That's not the sort of player he is. He is a right back that has a brilliant ball on him that can pick out a pass. But to pick out a pass, he has to be facing the goal. And his game is not really, picking up a ball off a back line and, being a regista sort of midfielder. He's never been that. If he had that kind of ability, he would have played there from the beginning. There was a reason why he is playing as a right back, because he has certain qualities, which is whipping in a ball or picking out a pass. And you could do that from the right back position. He has a magisterial right foot. He also has set pieces. So I definitely think he should be in the lineup, but if you're going to play him, you either play him at right back or you don't play him at all. You don't just try to fit him in there just because. Or you use him in some sort of clever way, the way Steve Clark tries to use Tierney and Robertson, having one guy as a left center half or left wing back. Now, England, they can't do that because that's playing very, very pragmatic, and England have too much quality to do that, and they can't switch it just because of Trent. Okay, then you go see what Ronald Koeman does to try to fit in Dumfries and Frimpong. He plays Dumfries at right back, and he plays Frimpong in a little bit of an advanced right midfielder sort of role, right midfielder, right winger sort of role. I think Trent is capable of doing that, but don't put Trent in midfield and expect him to play the role of Calvin Phillips, as you would say. That's not Trent's game. And but going back to Kobbie Mainoo, you got Kobbie Mainoo who's going to be playing more likely than not starting his first game at a major tournament in a knockout stage game. this is a bad time to really test it out. Now it's not against the strongest opposition, Slovakia, but you're gonna be playing a guy in his first start at an international competition in a knockout stage game. And I think it's interesting what lineup he goes with. Phil Foden, whether or not he will be 100% available. He is back in the England setup, but he did have to go back to England. Whether or not that makes it a little bit, his position in the squad shaky. How does he fit, the players in there? I heard some talks about Bellingham being dropped. Don't think that's necessarily the answer. I think you do need to try to get Cole Palmer in there, because every time Cole Palmer touches the ball, it just seems like he's a factor to do something. He has a wonder goal on him. He has ability to create for his teammates. His goals and assist contributions speak for himself. But do they have a manager clever enough to make it fit? No, they don't. Now, I don't think, I think they'll be able to scrape past Slovakia 1-0, 2-0 on unimpressive fashion, just because of the sheer quality that they have and their ability to do it in individual moments and play very boring, dull football like they've done at these European Championship. But against a team, a half-decent side that has some quality going forward, I think England will be in trouble very, very soon. And I don't see them going past farther than this, but I do see them winning this game 1 or 2-0, something of that sort.